What's up, everybody? Leo here, your friendly admin from Vasingtonia. Now, I was going to do a recording, and then I got halfway through, and my camera stopped, and I just cannot be stuffed setting stuff up. So we're just going to wing this one. We're going to wing it. Today, I'm talking about a player-requested math lesson, aka a lecture on why we price things the way we do, but specifically talking about crops and fertilizer. So let us get off Discord because let's get out of here. We don't want to deal with this anymore. First and foremost, we have a complex pricing strategy. I don't have the time or the will to go through it on this particular video, but essentially it's a circular equation that sort of takes into consideration your calorie costs and your tool costs into harvesting raw material. And it is quite complicated, and as I said, I do not have time or will to explain it. But let us assume, let's go into a dream time here, and assume that you end up with a price, whether you arbitrarily chose it or whether you made a calculation to get there. And let us assume that the price of those crops is $1. One of the factors that this just will not end up being true at the end of the day. Ooh, is that a carcass? Oh my god, free meat. Thank you. Yep, I got that one. Yep, that was mine. Okay, so $1 for a crop will eventually change. So right now, I just want to talk about very specifically some mathematics involved in how I come to the conclusion that even if you get the price of a crop at $1, why the crop is not actually worth $1 and why it will actually cost you substantially more than that. Now, I'm going to do this in brief because if I get really technical without being prepared, I'm likely to say something that will result in endless fights and disagreements. Actually, that might be a cool thing. Yeah, okay, we'll just do that. We'll just do that. So, first and foremost, I have utilized the wiki to get some information. Now, some people will say, oh, you can't really trust the wiki. I'd probably agree. The wiki's very out of date. But let's go with it anyway because we want to get some rough numbers on some stuff. So here we go. We've got the EcoWiki here. That hasn't been updated in quite a while, I fair assume. Oh, it looks like some more stuff happening on here, which... Okay, somebody's done some stuff since I last checked it out. And let's just go with... Oh, look at that. I've already searched wheat before. How exciting. Wheat. Okay, we got wheat. So, we have wheat somewhere on here. We should probably have like a wheat plant. I'm looking for consumption data, so I'm specifically looking at wheat consumption. Maybe wheat doesn't mean wheat, maybe. No? Okay, how about we just say wheat plant, wheat planty, can't spell. Oh my god, wheat. Okay, why don't we just say tomato then? Maybe tomato will have the dot. Oh my god, really? Is there no tomato? Tomato. For real? Fuck's sake. Okay, how about corn? Surely there's got to be corn. No corn! Are you serious? Am I even in the wiki anymore? Okay, that's it. Let's just fucking take all this out. Let's just get rid of it. Okay. Alright. Okay, back here somewhere. Okay, why don't we try this again? Corn. Oh, there is stuff. Corn on the cob, fritters, corn seed, corn starch. Alright, corn. I didn't capitalize it well enough, obviously. Oh, those are images. Right. Okay, I knew that. Okay, well, the thing I was after that I was going to show you is no longer here, but I guess this is the only thing I can go with. Nutrients were 20,0030 prior to alpha 5.5. That was on the wiki for a long time. Those were kind of the numbers that we went off. But I guess we could just have a look in game. Now look, I'm going to cheat it because I don't have time for this shit. So give soil sample. Right, I got myself a soil sampler. Okay, now let's go and have a look at a farm somewhere. This is Probably over in Gaia, because there's a lot of stuff happening over here in Gaia. And we'll just wait for the world to load. So just for anyone who is interested, we have thrown in to our server. Our server's based in Equinox in Sydney. And we've thrown in, well, the server host has spent a lot of time and energy upgrading us to some Ryzen Epics, which has been absolutely fantastic for our processing, and has also given us some enterprise SSDs, which is absolutely freaking phenomenal. So, what's this, corn? Does it tell us on here what it wants? No, it just tells us that the phosphorus, nitrogen, and that is like 30%-ish. So my point is I was going to look up here some environmental data just to get a sort of a baseline. And I don't even know what I'm looking for. Nitrogen? Here we go, nitrogen. Okay, so I could see that these fields were previously harvested, and I think that's a pretty obvious pattern for anyone who is looking at it. You could see that the nitrogen, phosphorus. My God, this UI is so small. I'm surprised you'd be able to see this once I upload it to YouTube. Let's just go with that. Nah, did that do anything? Nah. Graphics. Interface scale. Let's go a bit high. Okay, so it's a bit. It should be a bit easier to read. 48%, 46 phosphorus, and 30 potassium. Now, the thing is, you know, if you add fertilizer to this, I don't think it actually gives very much. So if I just get some fertilizer, where is fertilizers? Here we go. One of these ones is going to give us what we want. So we want to increase one of them. I don't really care which one, to be honest. Blood meal fertilizer does what? Nitrogen 3. High dash does what? Nitrogen 5, that one's pretty good. Pulp. Pulp is just pulp, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, pulp is just filler. What's this one? Chemisash. 0.3. Okay, I'm just going to go with this one because the high dash looks like the easiest one to go with. That one does 5. So nitrogen 5. So if I give myself high ash fertilizer. Okay, I have it here in my hotbar. If I look at the ground and I apply the fertilizer. Oh, quick, get a screenshot of that. 68. Just going to paste this over here so I don't lose it. Now that is a new thing. I have never seen that before in my life, right? I have never, ever seen that number come up. So whenever they develop that, fantastic, good job. Can I get this to go away because it's really annoying? No, I don't want tab. I just want it to go away. Can you just go away from 5 minutes? I'll put it there so that way my mouse can get it later. Right, so nitrogen 68%. You know what I should have done? I should have played a screenshot of that. But actually, I don't really need to because it looks like on here it popped up with the nutrients. 68, 68, 48, 48, 32, 32. Okay, so if I do it again, and I get myself a high dash fertilizer here. So remember, nitrogen's at 68. So what happens with it? It goes to 88. That is a 20-point increase. So I could assume that we could multiply that by 4. So I digress. My point is, right, you would need, that's what, 20? So that's 5 nitrogen for the field to get it to 100. Now, we still don't have a consumption, unfortunately, unless we might in the F1 menu. Do we have a consumption somewhere? Branch. Beans. Does it tell you in here? No, just a lot of it for sale. Farmer. Is it in here? No. Is there any information in here? Oh, wait, hang on. Let's try fertilizers. Is there any information on this at all, I wonder? No. World index, crafting. Ecosystem? Gameplay? No. Farming? Compost fertilizer? Soil? Too much or too little of any given type can change the yield and growth speed of both, but we're not being told what. Now I'm sure it's there somewhere, but obviously I'm being lazy right now and not going and getting it. Why are those there? I don't know. Anyway, I'm just having a look here. Engineers, farmers, hunters. Soil sampler. World index? Oh, cool. I didn't know this. Get some other tags. Okay. So, I'm just going to assume that the corn is consuming like 20. So, I mean, if we base it on this assumption, because I can't find this data simply, you would get 5 rotations before you're completely out of nitrogen, right? So as far as I got there, if it's consuming 20 and you have 25 crops per plot, that's a lot, right? Now that's a lot. And again, I don't know if that's correct or not because there's nothing here. There's nothing in the wiki anymore that now tells us. It used to just tell us, but now it's not. Show. I don't know. What if it's in here? Fertilizer. Caring for soil nutrients is key to achieving continual high yields and optimized growth conditions. Yep, that makes sense. Oh, here we go. How fertilizer works. Fertilizer is applied to the soil on the entire 5x5 plot. Yep, that's true. Each unit of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium in the fertilizer corresponds to 4% of the nutrient in the soil. So that makes sense. What did I say before? It was like times 4. So that would be 5 times 4% gives us 20%. That makes sense. Okay, according to the agriculture page, a player can over-fertilize a plot of land to the detriment of crop survivability. Where do I know what the consumption is? Changes nutrient values of the soil take time to update. Will not check. Yep. You can add as many fertilizers as you want, but you'll have to wait for the plot. Okay, that's cool. Let's try the agriculture page. Maybe there's something on there about consumption. Overcrowding, plants, biomes, okay. Is there anything here about the actual consumption of plants? Yeah, there you go. Temperature no longer influences. Nutrients. So, I mean, is it safe to say that if it does 20 points, then it's also 4%? So you're only going to get so many yields out of it? Overcrowding. This means that every plant inside this 5x5 plot counts into the checked farming area, including grass and trees. For simulation can lead to overcrowding even the player wanted to plant a single seed. Plants will have a lower tolerance for crowding. The less optimal the soil conditions, this can result in crowding crops fewer than 100%. Overcrowding will hurt survivability. If you plant 5 crops and they're very overcrowded, 2 or 3 may die before they start to mature. Okay, that's interesting. I know that was a thing, but it wasn't explained before. Still don't have anything on the actual consumption. I don't know. Maybe somebody else has the answer. Maybe. I'm just going to Google it. I don't fucking know. So I found this. This is back in 2020. This is 6 years old nearly. The wiki says corn needs a minimum of 40 nitrogen and 40 phosphorus to maintain nutrient, but what does it mean? I mean, somebody's obviously asking, oh, look at that. It ends. Okay. Okay. Cool. So, we don't really know. We can only make some assumptions. According to my experience and what I've seen players do, it's generally about 3 harvests, and then they're too low. So if this here is considered too low and it's at 50%, I would say you're going to get 6 harvests, and you're going to be completely depleted. Right. So my point is, let's make some assumptions, right? Let's just get out the notepad. We're going to make some assumptions, and again, we're allowed to make assumptions based on critical thinking, right? We're just critically thinking, and we're just making some assumptions because we don't want to get bogged down in numbers. We also want to get some sort of result. So we're going to type it out. Assumptions, okay? 3 harvests to 50% nutrients, right? Nutrients, can't spell, but that's okay. We don't need to spell here. That kind of means we'll give it 5 harvests to depletion. So we know we need to get it up at 5 harvests. Now, 5 harvests is very, very similar and close to our 20 units of nitrogen. So we know to get it, 100%, we know that that's going to be 5. What was it? What was it again? I can't remember what it was. It was a high-dash fertilizer. Right. Now that's based on 5. I mean, if there are other ones, and other ones are based on less than 5, then obviously it means we're going to need more than 5, doesn't it? We're going to need could be closer to 7 or 10. What does compost do? So again, 2, 1. So I mean, if we math it out, that is 8% right there. That's a filler. If we look at berry fertilizer does 4.8 potassium. That's close enough to 5, right? So you'd need about 5 of those. I guess what this kind of means is that I think per sort of rotation is that you're kind of expecting to add at least 4, 5 fertilizers. I think that's a fair assumption. Fillers don't really do very much. All right, high-dash fertilizer being the one that gives you the nitrogen. We've got the phosphate fertilizer. Where's phosphate fertilizer? Pelt, camas ash, blood meal. Phosphate fertilizer here. Phosphate fertilizer gives us 4 phosphorus, and the berry extract one. That's camas ash. I don't know what I'm talking about here. Berry extract. We're talking at 4.8 potassium. So I think if we just sort of base it on those ones there, let's do a high dash. We're going to get high dash, we're going to get a phosphate, and we're going to get a berry extract. Right. Again, I'm just making an assumption, right? I'm not saying it's perfect science. I'm just making an assumption. Can't spell. Yes, I could have built a table, I know, but just scream at me. Or don't. I don't want to hear it. So, looking at this, we know we're going to need about 1 of these per rotation. Wow, that's probably not the best way to say it, per harvest. Phosphate fertilizer, which we looked at it before, what was it, 4.8? Yeah, 4. We know we're probably going to need 1 per harvest as well. And our berry extract, as we know, that's Camas. Oops, I did it again. I went to Camash instead of berry. 4.8. So we know we're going to need 1. So what if we make this assumption that you will essentially need these 3, right? Need these 3 fertilizers per claim plot per harvest. I think that's a pretty fair and reasonable assumption. Again, could be wrong, right? Completely open to being proved wrong. And that's kind of the point of this video, right? This video is prove me wrong. Right, so let's go back to it. we know also, judging by this field that's pretty large, we've got some property here. We know that that's what 1, 2, 3, 4 claims. We know that's 4 claims by 4 claims. That's pretty easy to see. That one would be 3 by 3. We could reasonably assume, judging by the nitrogen field here, that it's probably 4 by 8. I'd probably say that's 4 by 8. So the typical farm would be 4 by 8, I reckon. Now, I'm no math genius, but I've got a computer here, so I can open up the wheel calculator and go 4 times 8. We know that's about, we'll go conservative and say 30 claims. So we know in one harvest we're going to need 30 high dash, 30 phosphate, and 30 berry. Can't spell. 30. We also know that on 30 claims there are going to be 5 crops. So that is going to be, again, trust your calculator, right? Let's just redo this. We're going to go 30 times 5. We know you're going to get 150 harvested plants. Now I say harvested plants because you may get more than one actual out of it. Now I can test this. I don't have the skill. And I like doing all my maths based on players not having the skill. And I think that's the best way to test it. So if I go ahead and harvest all this corn, what do we get? 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 9. Right? I think we got 7, 9, 10. So we harvested 10 from what, 8 plants? I think. So we harvested, I think it's about what, 1.02 or something. No, 1.04. Because you go 4. Math. Mathy. Something like that. It's basically 1. Because if you get 10 but you harvested 8, then that's actually like, oh no, wait, it's probably 1.2. Yeah, because then you'd be 1.4, then you'd be 0.6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But you harvested 8. So it's probably closer to 3. We'll go 1.3. Because then you go 3, 6, 9. Yeah? No? Anyone disagree with me? I'm happy to say, we'll say the harvest is 1.3. Okay? Alright? We'll just to be, or if we want to be absolutely, yeah, we'll probably 1.2. Probably 1.2. It's better to be on the lower side than the higher side because you want to overestimate on it. Right, 1.2 crops per plant. Okay, so in theory, we're going to get 150 multiplied by 1.2. So that's effectively harvested per harvest. Okay, so I think you can see what I'm trying to do here. I'm basically trying to say you need this much for every this much. Okay, we are on our way to success. Great success. All right, now moving on. Let us go back and do the actual equations for the fertilizer. Now, I don't have a fertilizer price, and unfortunately the person who I wanted to come in here and give us a fertilizer price is too shy for the camera, but that's okay. That's okay. No problem at all. We'll just continue. So, high dash fertilizer. Let's get some math down pat real quick. We're just going to do some Excel work here. I don't really want you to go into massive specifics. In my time, do it in your own time, okay? You can do it in your own time. I am essentially going to say that we're going to look at our pricing calculator. We know we've got, what do we got? We got item, we've got, what do we got? High dash, can't even spell, oh my god, the spell. Okay, we know that we get, what, 1 out of the recipe? 1. 3 hides and 1 fertilizer filler. Okay, so we get hides. Oh, excuse me. And then we'll say price. Okay, and then our total will be that multiplied by that, and that's fine. And we're going to do the same thing here and here. Okay, so hides, I think it was 3. Yeah, 3 and 1. So it is 3 and 1. Now, what if we just be a little crazy and see if any of this stuff's already in the market? Wait a minute, what am I doing? Nose Fertilizers by Warlow is already selling this at 192. And he's guaranteed to make a 1 million, lol. He's guaranteed to make a 10% profit because that's the server rules. So I'm assuming that looking at his shop, he's already considered the inputs for this. And he's already considering the outputs. Well, leather hides are 50. You need 3 of them. That's 150. Plus some wood pulp, which is getting way undervalued. But anyway. So, okay, 192. Let's go with that. 192. I think you guys can see where I'm going with this. So we're going to put this price next to it. Okay, we're going to go 30 for harvest. So we need 192 X 192 SHK. I was going to say SHK because that's our current currency. Should you put it at the front or the back? I'll put it at the front. Now, what does that equal? I don't know. Let's get the trusted calculator. Can't be wrong now. 192 divided by multiplied by 30. It's going to cost us 5,760. Cool. All right, what's next? Phosphate fertilizer. Don't have one. What do we have? What do? Hide ash and blood meal. That's all he's got. Such a lazy fertilizer specialist. He hasn't done it. Hasn't done it at all. That's right. That's right. We'll figure it out. So, moving on. What am I looking for next? Phosphate fertilizer. Phosphate fertilizer is going to be fun. Fertilizer. Here we go. Oh, he hasn't considered the fertilizer filler either. I should probably do that. Wood pulp and dirt. No way. No way. Let's go chuck this in the calculator. Let's go filler. Now, it is dirt. Look, dirt is already at a minimum price of 3. And wood pulp, I can guarantee you is not fucking 10 cents, but anyway, we're going to make it his price. Okay, we'll do what he says. Filler should therefore be something that you can actually make a profit of, and that's kind of important. So if I sum this, and then at the top of here I put in that divided by that, we should actually get a profit margin. And that there is the 40... What? No. 4.4? Yeah, it's costing us minus. Yeah. Yeah. Is this actually a percentage? Something that don't seem right. Oh, I've got to use the divide by symbol. I knew that. So look, our fill is going to be at least $6. And if we're transporting between shops and we're doing our thing, you know what? Let's not put in the transport calculation. I don't advocate this at all, right? In fact, I detest doing what I'm about to do, and I find it absolutely abhorrent and disgusting. But I want to prove a point. Let's do that. Fert filler, 6. Right, now we multiply by -1 because we're paying for it, essentially. Now, again, it's cost. Hides, what are hides in the market? Hides in the market, we just sort of had a look at this. Yeah, you can buy it for about 48. Now, again, it costs without a transport fee. What a dirty, disgusting person I am. Is he making profit? Yeah, he is. 180, 170, ooh, 160. 160, okay, 160 with a 10% margin. That's the price they were looking for. Can I colour this in, make it look pretty? 160. So, just going to move all this up. I'm getting really good at this Excel stuff. I learned how to copy paste recently. Alright, so that's 1. Or maybe we want to do it the other way. Maybe we want to go down. Yeah, that's right. And then what we'll do is we'll put the profit off to the side like this, so that we can squeeze it in more when we're doing this recording, even though it's like live. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, bunch up. Yeah, that's right. Now, you guys, right, we'll put you over to the side first, and then we'll move you over. There we go. Now we can zoom in, make this a bit smaller, make it a bit taller, and Bob's your uncle. You can see all of them in one go. So that's the high dash. What's the next one? Does anybody remember? No. All right. Phosphate and berry extract. Phosphate. Now, we know that this one here is basically crushed limestone. You can just find on the floor. It's worth like $3. And we know that the filler is like -6. Actually, I'm pretty sure if I just copy this equation right there, just put it there and put it there. Crushed sulfur, is crushed sulfur on the market? Of course it is. Of course somebody's freaking selling it. Does that auto update? Yeah, it does. Okay, cool. So we know it's going to be crushed limestone. It requires 1, and it's like -3. What is it in the market? It's $14. Don't worry. For the purpose of this exercise, I want to be an absolute extortionist. And the other one is crushed. What's that thing called again? Sulfate, sulfur, crushed sulfur. Again, you can find it on the ground at $3. Okay, all right. So profit needs to come down, way down. Now again, I'm doing this obscenely on purpose, right? 7.5. Oh, close enough. 7.4. 7.3. There it is. Okay. And lastly, the berry extract. The berry extract should be charred camas bulbs. No way. How much are they on the market? Not on the market. Okay. How about just another food? That's also 1 fert as well, yeah. I'm just going to say charred food. There's heaps of charred food, right? So I'm sure it's just a matter of just make it work. Yep. There's heaps of charred food. What are you talking about? Yeah. Okay, how much is it like anything? What if we just like filtered this by some charred food? Thanks, guys. You really helped me out. When do I want charred meat? But everything else is pretty much 1-to-1, right? Like they're all 1-to-1. Charred fireweeds 1-to-1. Charred corn's 1-to-1. Like no sausage though. We don't want to do sausage. What's that? Charred tomato. Holy shit! There's nothing on the market. Give me a sec. I'm just gonna have to talk to everybody. Guys. Yep. Alright. Anyway. Alrighty then. It's 1-to-1. We know what it's going to cost. It's going to be 1 crop, which is $1 plus some labor. Maybe you sell it for like $5. Okay, with profit. And we know this. We're not chums. We've done this before. I typed in -1. Yeah, where are my Big Macs? V Unit says, guys, why are there no Big Macs for sale? Yeah, where are my Big Macs? I've put them in the pricing sheet. You guys should do it. All right, so $7. Ooh, $6. $6.70. $6.30. Oh, we're getting close. Oh. Okay, 6.2. Okay. All right. All right. I have. You know what? Let's fuck it. Let's just make the hides $4. Okay. Oh my god, that's. That'll do. Okay. As you can just see, I've manipulated the numbers intentionally just to show how absolutely absurd this is, because the point of this video is to show you how absurd this is. Absurd. And I think I've done my point. So you're only making a 10% margin making these and selling them, and of course in the idealistic fashion, not in the real world. So we've got our prices now. We can redo this. We know that your high dash is 14, and we know we have to redo this. So let's get our better old calculator. Actually, you know what? Let's just do the bloody thing in Excel, because, you know, whatevs. High dash. We know we need 30, and we know they cost this much minus -1. Phosphate. We know we need 30. We know we need 30. Oh my god, why are you working? Why are you just so, like, copy? Oh my god, having an aneurysm over here. We know the price of this is $7.30, and we know that the price of this is $6.20, and we know that we have to get 30 of them. So, just to be absolutely outrageous, here is the cost to administer the fertilizer to our field that brought us 180 crops. So if we take that and we divide it by minus 285, we get approximately 21 cents. So if we just like do it that way for math's sake and for your head, essentially, if we round that up, it's cost you approximately 22 cents per crop. Now, if your crop is $1, okay, you are that's $1 with obviously your 10% margin already. So your cost of this without your 10% margin, I don't know, it's probably like, I don't know, that much. Oops, I just divided that. I'm supposed to multiply that. It's probably, that much. That much there is like your profit per unit, and this has not been factored in. So realistically, if you were to take your 88 cents and you add 22, it's actually cost you $1.10, and then you've sold it for $1, so you've actually lost 10 cents under the presumption that you've made a 10% margin. Now, this is obviously just off the cusp. I haven't planned this recording or anything. I'm just messing around with it. It's now been 37 minutes, and I can give you a magic number that I think is pretty reasonable and close to the average person. Again, in a court of law, any reasonable person might find this reasonable. I know it's unreasonable. The high dash is currently priced in the world somewhere around the, the 192 mark. So that adds, well, this has got to be around the right way. Why did the number go down? Oh my goodness. Maybe I was supposed to do it the other way around. Oh no, I fucked up a mass hardcore. Oh no, I got it wrong. It was wrong the whole time. Oh no, I'm really bad at math. I'm really shit at math. Okay, so this should have actually been, the price divided by the amount of crops to give you $4.58. So if you're selling a crop for $1, it actually costs you 0.88 plus $4.50. It cost you $5 per crop. It didn't seem as bad before, did it? But now that I figured out I suck at math, as you can see, like, it is way different. Way different. I mean, even that's at the $14 mark for it. I mean, it gets obscene. Like, I mean, let's just say, what does it look like if we just make this $1? Even if we just make it $1, what does it look like? Well, it's still adding 50 cents per crop, isn't it? So, look, my point is, on Vasingtonia, we are trying to create an economic system that is different. Again, I'm not going to go into it. I don't have the brain power to do all that right now. But we have a minimum pricing sheet. And the minimum pricing sheet, which I'll just pull up here, it just kind of says that crop is like, $1. But we know that it's actually a lot more than that, but we can't make the crop $5. Like, everything in the economy will change its price because obviously crop is used directly in the price, the equation for calories. So I'm not trying to demean like the point. Like, yes, calories are a thing and stuff, but we can't also reduce the economy down to just a bunch of numbers. You have to intervene somewhere and say no. And in this particular regard, this is an opportunity, as far as I'm concerned, where the players need to figure out how to solve it. Everyone says, oh, Leo, just go and mod the server. Yeah, I could mod the server. I could absolutely mod the server and just make everything, easy and multiply the amount of crops you get by 10 and whatever else. But again, where's the challenge in the video game if we just let it run? So the theory being you won't need any fertilizer for the first week or two, once you sort of stabilize and sort stuff out, that's when you got your farm set up and you know you're going to reoccurringly use the same farms that you've painstakingly leveled for farming. That's when you sit there and you go, okay, fertilizer is now needed. And I highly recommend that you just subsidize the crap out of it, right? Use the federation, use the tools at your disposal, use the banking policy, and just subsidize the crap out of it, because that's what happens in the real world, right? And that's what people don't sort of realize, is that, you know, the cost of this is going to be probably going to be closer to like $100 a unit. That's probably going to be closer to $100 a unit. It's going to add $65 per crop. Like, it's a lot. In fact, it's almost just cheaper to pay the guy who's harvesting $100 a unit, or have a government shop that's buying crops for like $100 a unit. This is a method where, like, and again, I'm just playing a dungeon master in like a game of D&D, right? I'm just presenting in front of the players a healthy challenge for them to figure out. And I've just made this video on a whim, because players are like, I say crops are going to cost way more than what people think, and then people are like, no, that's not true. And then I get some DMs by people who be like, you don't know what you're talking about. You're a terrible guy. And I'm like, look, this is just the math, right? This is just, even if we made everything $1 and the person making fertilizer made no money, it's still going to add 50 cents, man. It's still going to add a lot of money. Wait, why is this based on? Yeah, it's still gonna add a lot. It's still gonna be that. This is a cost. There's no margin in it. Okay, maybe there's margin in berry extract, but there's something going on there. There's no margin in it, so there's no profiteering for manufacturing fertilizer. And this is the challenge I want players to really take on board, is figure out how to make this work. Figure out how to make this work that doesn't involve the admin modding it. Work it out. Do the math. You know, if you're farming or you're gathering or whatever, you're out there in Gaia and you're doing your stuff, take notes. Really measure how much fertilizer you actually need, so we can improve upon this data, so we're not just running on guesswork and hopes and vibes and dreams. Get the data. Prove how much it's actually costing. Show the community. Be the guy who's like, yes, I've actually spent $100,000 on this field, right? Just planting fertilizer. Yes, it costs too much. Be the farmer to start a political party and start a rally and start to push some incentives from the federal government or the local government. Wait, what? I didn't say that out loud. Use the bank's money. Tell the bank will give you how much money you need to make sure that this works. Just make sure you have the data. Anyway, I'm going to go and eat, but this has been a little bit fun. I hope you guys take this data and run with it. Have fun. Bye.